Yeah, so we surround ourselves in love, light, peace, and positivity, and we actually go in to get the real stories, the unsung heroes, unsung hero spirits, if you will, of these locations. Um, the biggest investigation for us is we went to Bobby Mackey's, which is a honky tonk, aka country bar in just south of Cincinnati in Kentucky, and it was notoriously known for demons. You know, the whole place was just crawling with them. If you watch the Travel Channel, so
Country Western demons. That
I,
sounds quite a supernatural rodeo.
I'm not gonna lie, there was a mechanical bull in that place, and we had it all to ourselves. I'm like, you know what? I'm too fucking old. I would just break a hip.
But wait, if there was a mechanical bull, that's an opportunity. Even if it's not for you, something's got to ride that bull.
There you go. Riding home, baby. But yeah, so we went in there and we're like, you know, and we tell spirits, we're not here to yell at you. We just want to tell your story. And, you know, more often than not, a lot more often than not, we get these stories. Like Bobby Mackey's, we ended up talking to a spirit who was raped in the bathroom there, ended up killing the guy who raped her. You go, girl. I mean, it's against the law, but still. And she passed. I never got the story of how she passed away, but she spoke to it, like whatever room we were in from the alleged demon infested basement. She spoke to us and told us her story. So, and when they start telling us their story, we encourage them. I think that helps too.
That does. That's beautiful. And because you get, even though they're stories of those who have passed in the paranormal, these are stories of survivors in a way, survivors beyond life. And that's a fascinating concept to think about, that even when we pass on, we do become, like you're talking about, energies past our normal perception, to share with future generations, maybe to learn, to scare, to teach, something like that. And a story like this woman's can help inform us. One, be decent to all women, please. No violence whatsoever.
Yeah.
No rape.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
but also the strength to pass on that story and the strength to tell it and share it so that we can overcome it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And there's another place we went to that was allegedly infested with demons, yada yada yada. And we spoke to a woman there named Linda, which, you know, if there's a demon named Linda, there's a problem. But her main thing she wanted us to know, because we kept going, do you hate when people come in here and yell at you and ask for demons and ask you to perform? And clear as day, I have this thing called the Odd Box, where we hook up a spirit box to it that runs quickly through radio stations. So anything that actually comes over is spirit communication, because it scans so quickly that you don't even get a full syllable from the radio stations. And she said a full sentence, and she said, "We are just people." I cried.
That's beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you, Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And the spirit boxes. So that's an app, or is that a tool that you?
It's actually like remember the olden days, like when I was a kid, when you had little handheld AM/FM radios with the antenna?
Yes.
It's just one of those that's modified so that it won't actually, so you can press a button so it won't actually stay on a station. And it even moves quicker than, like, even on your digital radio when you're trying to find stations, it moves quicker and constantly.
Okay, just trying to pick up frequencies, as you mentioned, because spiritual channels go through any wavelength in the air.
Yeah. And for me, this they can communicate through this so easily. I hate getting out any other equipment, because I know that this is how they can talk to me, and it's literally, well, I don't want to say face to face conversation, but it's, I ask a question, they give an answer. I ask a question, they give an answer. Sometimes they ask me a question and I give an answer. So it's literally a conversation with the dead.
Wow, that's incredible. And because there's many ways to channel the dead, and that's interesting that it does become so interpersonal, and because it's always been this very mystical notion, of course, and that's actually what in the book, is utilizing scrying, divination, mirror gazing to do it.
Yes,
And
I have a scrying mirror in my office.
you do.
I can't get it to work for me to save my life.
Really? Well, doing research on it, it requires a lot of patience and very almost a transcendental state of meditation in order to tether oneself with the whatever could possibly be on the other side of the mirror. I'm a little too impatient for that. I'm not sure
exact same. When you said you have to be patient, I'm like, well, that's why it doesn't work.
Exactly. It's easier to flip through channels.
Yeah.
And so in the case of the story, of course, it works for him because his overwhelming grief in our main character, Nate, he's so desperate that he does want to contact and will do anything, including this. And he does manage it to pull something out, which may or may not be what he was expecting. And
True.
so as a paranormal investigator, I have to ask you, so if in real life, someone like Nate actually did contact something from the other side, in this case, a phantasm, and one, do you think it would be able to come out? And two, what would you do if a manifestation like that suddenly came into your home and understood more about you than you realize?
Well, first and foremost, I would make sure all my Ring cameras are on in my house. And
Of course, got to capture it.
Oh, absolutely. I need the proof. And, it's a scary thought. It's a really, really scary thought. I was fortunate enough to read one of your chapters on the Get Scared podcast, so I know a little bit about this story. And when he does come through, it's fucking terrifying. So
he's literally called the negative, the fraud, the fake. This is pure negative energy that has no rhyme or reason except to cause chaos.
Yeah.
And so that it terrifies me too. That's
yeah, absolutely. And here's my outlook on ghosts.
Okay.
You have different kind of ghosts, just like you have different kind of people. If you're an asshole in life, you're going to be an asshole in death. If you're a troublemaker in life, you're going to be a troublemaker in death. You know what I'm saying? So I don't pull religion into it at all. It's just not my thing. I think it's just people, like Linda told me in Salt Lake City. They're all just people. It is a terrifying thought, though, and knows everything about you, can twist whatever you're thinking and make it into what it is not. That's even a person like that would terrify me.
Yes, very much. Meaning, someone who has almost a psychic ability to get into your head, like a Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, they're out there.
Manipulation. Yeah, they're all out there. Just look at cults.
For sure.
And so, if something like that came into your home, what would someone be able to do, or how should you react?
That's a really good question.
It's a poser.
Honestly, me being the paranormal enthusiast and investigator that I am, I would talk to it. And you know what? If people contact me and say, there's just something off in my house, but the key word there is my house. That's your house. Mm-hmm. You have the right to tell them this is unacceptable. Now, does it always work? Absolutely not. Just like with human beings. But you do your best. And sometimes people just kind of end up living, when you have that one friend that you just agree to disagree, you just got to work on it. Honestly, 1,000,000%, you treat that spirit like they're a human being to get what you want. Maybe there's past trauma in his life before he passed away that you have to talk him through it. That's my thoughts on it. I'd try to get his story, figure out why he's being a dick, and then say, okay, you got to go.
Okay, that I like that. Therapize and slowly usher out the door. It's like that guest at the party who won't leave yet, had a few too many glasses of wine, but you don't want to be rude because you're a good host.
Yeah. And being a spirit, you don't want to be rude, first and foremost, because they'll follow you. Some people believe in possession. I don't know if it's a real thing. I don't think so, but it may happen. You don't know.
Exactly. And that's when exorcists get involved, and that's a whole other field that I've delved into in other subject matters. And I mean, The Exorcist terrifies me personally.
Oh yeah.
Growing up Catholic and seeing that oof,
Mm-mm.
I don't want to mess with like, demons are very interesting, like historically, religiously, as horror figures in all forms. Demons are actually one of my favorite subjects because it's infinite. Their
Oh,
possibilities in what they can
absolutely.
do, what they can say, and how they present themselves as well. That's
I personally don't believe in demons.
really
Really.
that.
Never have ever. Why? And I don't want to turn this into a debate. You have a devout Catholic upbringing. I have a devout Lutheran, which is as close to Catholicism as you can
Oh yeah,
get.
I'm Catholic light, just so everybody.
Okay, so you're Lutheran, is what you're saying. Why
Yeah, the
would
boy.
they pop into some guy's apartment and say, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to possess you for absolutely no reason. You know what I'm saying? Even if you play a Ouija board, how is a Ouija board different than using a K2 meter? It's a seance. They're all a seance in some way, shape, or form.
They're all rituals.
Mm-hmm.
It's like did the film Hereditary from recent years.
Yeah.
Yes, they use so many different means to contact the dead, and the Ouija board is, of course, the classic cliche example. They're fun, and I've never tried it. Nope, I cannot get anybody to do it with me because they'll get too jittery. But
It's nothing. It's no. A lot of people, I say, take religion out of it. Take The Exorcist out of it. Take all of that out of it. It's just a way to communicate with them. Now, my co-investigator Clayton Abbott, he says, but they use your body to move the planchette. I said, okay, I get that. But how is that any different when you're in a room that's black, talking to somebody who's coming over this box? You don't know who they are, and you say, touch me. It's no different.
that,
So
that's a very good point. And like you said, possession is a whole other subject. But
yeah.
I do agree with you in the fact that contacting spirits and meeting them is very much an emotional experience.
Mm-hmm.
Having had several myself, I'm a big cemetery explorer, and especially here
Ooh.
in Chicago, this city is rife with historical cemeteries. We have Graceland, Rose Hill, Bohemian National, Wunders Cemetery, all these places. And Rose Hill is one of my personal favorites, and have been there many times. And in the big mausoleum, which the lights are always half off. I think it's probably to save electricity, but I think no, they know that they want to make it as creepy as possible, because you go,
Of course.
and the
Yeah.
lights are all off. You're going down these long hallways. It looks like Phantasm, and it's crazy. But there was one time that I went there, just walking around in the mausoleum, and came across those memorial walls where people are ensconced with personal memorabilia from their
Yeah.
life, and usually ashes they're interred in there.
Mm-hmm.
I came across one particular wall, and there was a picture of a man, and who I presumed to be his partner, because I extrapolated that there was the ACT UP triangle and
Okay.
some rainbow material, and it looked like that was his partner in life. It was beautiful. But then, it was confirmed because the other man was just below. And I looked at their death years, because that's always curious too. When did they die? Because I can tell you something. And they died in 1995, literally within months of each other. And I think they passed away from I'm pretty sure they passed away from HIV related illness
It's about that time, yeah.
around that time. But also, given what else was in the box, there was some cues towards that. Like I said, the ACT UP memorabilia, I think they were members, and which was great. But I saw that, and kind of logged it away, and then kept walking through the mausoleum, and was stopped in my tracks, and just broke down, literally on my knees, crying. And it was those two men. I guarantee it. Those
They knew they could connect with you. They knew you were one of them. You know
yes.
what I'm saying? In more ways than one. You know?
Always in one. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life because, traditional hauntings, like you said, are poltergeists that come and get this spirit out of my house. But these people need to be heard. And especially in the case of these two men, they weren't heard probably for a long time.
Yeah.
And that was their way of getting that love, probably pain, but also kinship across. And it was one of the most remarkable experiences and what inspired a lot of the adventure into queer horror, because those are the stories that need to be told.
Yes.
From this side and that side together, because it's especially in marginalized communities, whether it's queer communities, female communities, communities of color, their ghosts and people are completely intertwined. We are our own ghosts a lot of the time.
Oh, literally.
Yes. And
it's here.
It's right up here. And so
Well said, sir.
And so bringing these hauntings into the picture with people who are experiencing this pain, I like that you guys go in with such an open mind, because maybe even a phantasm, maybe it is pure anger. You don't know. Like you said, it could be pure anger, but maybe there is a way to deal with it versus combating with it. Although, if you had to combat with a ghost, just for pure hypothetical, as you witnessed in the chapter with this crazy phantasm who has completely no interest in resolving its own issues, except it had no agenda except
you take your baggage with you.
Exactly, it is the baggage. And and so if you say you met this phantasm, and again, terrifying thought, I couldn't even fathom meeting it. What would you fight? If you had to fight it, what would you fight it with?
I don't know that there's anything you could.
Interesting.
Honestly, because I mean, it's an energy. I mean, how do you fight an energy?
Exactly. That's isn't it like when you read this book, it's like, what do you fight this with except the same tools that you use to get it out?
I don't know I know how to feed energy, but I don't know how to retract energy other than an outlet,
Exactly, the electrical outlets.
Mm-hmm.
David Lynch's favorite tool. But I've thought about this many times, like fighting ghosts outside of Ghostbusters, you can't punch it.
Physically do it.
You can't, unless it creates its own physical manifestation. Then maybe you could try and manipulate whatever form it took. But
epic rap battle.
Yep. Oh, good.
That's all we got. Dance off? I don't know.
Goodness. I'm picturing a dance off, because you would, even though we would probably lose that, because a ghost has probably seen millennia, depending on where it came from, and they probably know every dance that has come across the country. They could probably do the Charleston. All of us would be like, what?
Exactly.
We're trying to, I don't know, do this.
The white man underbite.
Exactly. Yeah. Awkward teen at prom dance.
I still do the Molly Ringwald. So
I call mine unholy gyrations. It just. I'm not gonna sit here and say I have any rhythm, so I would lose against a ghost in that case.
Yes.
People. So.
But it'd be fun to watch. You got to admit that.
Oh yes, I've been told it is fun to watch. Yes.
Oh yeah. So there is no answer to that question, sir.
Okay.
In a book, I'm sure you can come up with a million things, but real life, there's nothing.
Yeah, I can't come up with. That's why I just thought of it. Like, I need to put this question out into the world. Maybe someone has something they've done or something they know, that maybe we don't.
And honestly, if you take religion out of it, again, I'm not harping on this religion thing, and the priest coming in and exorcising the demons. There's nothing as human beings that we have as any kind of defense mechanism against energies that are not currently inhabiting bodies at this time. So,
a very good point.
Yeah.
Because
and how do we know that works when the priest is there? We don't.
We don't, because we only know our corporeal sensations
Mhm.
and what is physically in front of us, and
Right.
that's why we can learn from spirits,
Yeah.
and listening to them, understand their stories, but also maybe understanding how they work, because maybe one day we'll become one, we'll become one of them.
Yeah. I'm gonna haunt the shit out of some people.
I love the enthusiasm. So who or what do you want to haunt most?
If it were to happen today, the White House.
Yeah, got it.
Um,
I think about a billion ghosts would be on that lawn right now.
yeah, for sure. Oh, I'd be in there and I'd be fucking with that hair, just making it just. Um, yeah. You know what? I just watch my kids' families grow. You know, that kind of silly, cheesy mom shit. Is there anybody I'd haunt? I don't know. I'd fuck with some people
Oh
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
there's a
What
list.
about you?
Um, I mean, sentimentally, yes, there'd be people I check in on. I've always had this idea of being a roaming spirit, because I like to adventure, and I do think about, like, you know what? I would just go on a long walk through places where I know I've been and see who I find there.
Yeah.
And just to see it, but also remembering where I've been in the past and the people that I've encountered along the way. I've been lucky to have a lot of adventures in my time, the short time on this earth so far, and it's I love the characters that you meet along the way, and
Oh
feel haunting some of those trails would be fun again.
yeah.
People that you met once and never were to see again, be like, I want to go see, if they were still around, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they won't be, but probably them. I would definitely want some of my friends just to fuck with them,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and maybe cause some mischief here and there. Like,
Mhm.
I,
Same page.
yeah, we are on the same page. I am not above being a slight poltergeist. I will move some of your stuff.
I want to.
That's one of the great things that I find about ghostly energy, like having some of that force and someone not comprehending what they're seeing or not believing it. Like, oh no,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be the biggest cat and pushing shit in
Oh
your,
yeah.
making you trip every now and again, and then maybe pull a Beetlejuice here and there. I'd love to do the Calypso at a dinner party.
Yes.
As the,
Best ghost
oh,
movie ever.
thank you. I have watched that movie since I was 6, and that scene always
Oh,
wins.
yeah.
Catherine,
Every time I hear that song, that's the first thing I think of.
it is, and Catherine O'Hara mimes it so perfectly, like that, and that's,
Love her so much.
oh, she's a treasure. God bless Canada.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, um, and I have,
You brought up a good point. Do you mind if I interject for a second?
please,
About how you want to wander.
yes.
And I'm on the ghost. I've got the ghost vibes going on right now.
Mhm.
How do we not know that's not what is happening? And people every once in a while think about it when you're in a large crowd. Are they all people? Are they all alive?
Ooh.
Weird things happen in hotels. Maybe those people are going back to the hotel where they had their honeymoon or they met their first love or something like that. And I've been to places that are haunted one day and the next day I go back and absolutely nothing happens. Maybe they went on to the next location. Nobody really knows. But what you said makes sense. That's where I was going with that.
No, that is a fascinating point, because I work at a hotel as well, and so the amount of transients, and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't experienced anything yet. Knock on wood. I mean, we've got theories, but we're not. We always joke about it, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that it hasn't happened at our particular property, but I've heard about it at others. But it's like I mean, we could go into theories about doppelgangers. You could go into multiple planes of existence, because that is a great notion. So or the idea of deja vu. I've been here before,
All the time
all the
for
time.
me.
And yeah, it's a remarkable feeling, isn't it? Like that true sense you know you've seen this or you have done this,
Yeah.
and it's, whether it was here or somewhere else, and sometimes you can place it to a different memory, sometimes you can't. So
Mine usually go back to dreams.
same. My dreams sometimes repeat themselves, and
Mm.
I've had dreams where like many years later, and I remember that dream or that locale of the dream
And
from
then I never remember what's going to happen next, though.
nope. You never, and it always changes, but the place is the same. It's very strange. So I maybe we are all wandering ghosts. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why dreams are fascinating to me, because they are malleable pieces of information of where they come from, how they're sparked, how they're
Yeah.
inspired. But my David Lynch comment, I'm a huge David Lynch fan, and helped me understand the ways of surreal thinking, as they did probably for all of us, if we understand it at all. Sometimes like, what is this fuckery? And of course
Yeah.
he won't answer it. He's just like, will you elaborate on that? No. And but Mulholland Drive, it exercises, if you've ever seen the film,
A long time ago.
it's one of the best, and it exercises completely on dream logic and narratives, starting at point A, flowing through, and then here's point B, and flowing like that, where the realities completely shift by the end, but the whole story is actually cohesively told. You just have to put the pieces together. But it's the idea that these characters at point A and B, though they seem different, may have actually been living parallel with different things actually going on in their reality, or
Oh, wow.
versions of their reality, and how they bled through into what did happen. It's
Yeah.
a phenomenal movie. And so it does go back to your point of people wandering the same spaces as something else, or a different permutation of ourselves.
Yeah. For the longest time, I thought it was, oh, it happened in another life.
Mm-hmm.
Until one time I was stuck at the Canada border, and everything was new and fresh, and whatever year it was like state of the art. I'm like, there's no way this was a past life.
No, not at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And we sometimes maybe we want to believe it's deja vu or the past, because maybe it's something so wondrous that we're overwhelmed, and it creates this sense of us trying to remember it forever and capture it.
Mm-hmm.
But there, maybe we have visited a few places. Everyone always says I was this kind of person in this past life. I know it. Like I was a dancer or something like
Yeah.
that.
Me and every other woman my age were Marilyn Monroe. So
Well, we all, I mean, if there was a Cher in the past life, it was me. So
that's fucking fabulous right there.
cheers to that. And that's what she's on my work mug all the time.
I love it.
Um,
I did want to say again about paranormal investigating. If anybody's thinking about it, if anybody's thinking of scrying and summoning this thing, first of all, don't. Second of all, the reason we go into our investigations with love, light, peace, and positivity, and we're not yelling at the ghosts, and we're not looking for demons, we're looking for what the real story is of the location, is because you pretty much bring into an investigation you pretty much get out of an investigation what you bring in. So if you're yelling at the ghost, first of all, it's going to piss them off. So don't do that. You're going to get bad reactions. It's like you're the Karen of the ghost world asking to speak to a manager. Don't do it. Absolutely not. Talk to them like they're a human being. If you think there may be something in your house, don't sit there and get the fuck out of my house. It's not going to work. You try to talk to them. You what's the word I'm looking for? You not level with them. You I don't know. Be nice to them.
or go in even keeled.
Yeah, exactly. And you treat them like they're a human being. Say, look, I live here now. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want, but I don't have what you're looking for. can you please move on, or can we please cohabitate or whatever? But talk to them like a stupid neighbor you have next door that you're kind of scared of, but you just want it to stop. That's probably the best way to do it.
That's a great method, and I'd like to add that I like those feelings that you guys bring, and also I would encourage people. And one thing I learned when writing this, and also going to cemeteries and learning more about ghosts throughout the years and everything, is go in with a completely open mind towards what experience can happen. Because there's a lot of preconceived expectations, and most of the time those get dashed if you go in thinking one thing's going to happen, or you absolutely want one thing to happen. Don't, because let them surprise you, and it's scary, it's frightening, because you don't
They choose you.
They choose you, exactly. Like the gentleman I met at Rose Hill Cemetery, but then in the same cemetery there was an instance down one hallway. I turned right around because something was at the end of that hallway, and
you didn't like the way it felt.
It was like a wall, and you can feel it when you walk into a place. I'm sure. Surely you've been in some place where.
Oh yeah.
Visible.
I felt something not there trying to stop me from going into a room, and that's what it feels like. You have to push forward if you want to go through that, or you retract like you did. You were by yourself. I'm glad you retracted. You don't know what could have happened.
Oh, good Lord, no. It was in the middle of a deserted mausoleum, and middle of the day, no one was going to hear you, and also with those experiences, like, not saying possession per se, but you can come out of it a different person. It can. It can. You just because of what you might see or what it might do and everything. Because possessions, one is 9/10 of the law, but there's the 1/10 that is that what it can do to your mental state.
Yes. Absolutely.
That to me is actually the scariest part of hauntings and ghosts, is what information it can choose to give you. If you talk to it and everything, it can be very uncomfortable, but it can also be very enlightening. I still love your honky tonk bar story. Like like it seems like such a wild, crazy setting, but there's human stories that are relatable to everyone in those places. Those are like heartland places. We've all been to that honky tonk bar, and great things happen there and awful things happen there, and
all the time.
But going in with that openness to the experience, just be free about it. Just
yeah.
But I would agree with you too. If you feel like you shouldn't be doing it, don't, because you don't want. And I mean, as what happens here, you figure out exactly what happens when you really do the wrong thing, and it can go very badly.
I can, for sure. It's the most, and it's funny because as a kid, I didn't watch scary. Well, till I was probably in my late 30s, I didn't watch scary movies. Poltergeist fucked me up. I love it now.
You have to say, is that movie accurate? If you had to guess, or is it?
No.
I can't think so.
But it's terrifying.
It's fun. It's a great. I was just talking to someone about it, and why is there a clown doll in that kid's bedroom? Who cares? It's terrifying.
The movie, for its time, was very well done. It just went somewhere all these other ghost or horror movies never went. Like, I wish I could sit on the floor and feel a tickle in my tummy and he pulls me across the kitchen floor. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, I don't want the other stuff, but I want my chairs stacked on top of each other in my kitchen. Come on.
Oh, the chair stacking is actually, honestly, one of the best moments of the movie. It is so simple, and the way that camera just pans away, Jo Beth Williams walks away, and then suddenly
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, because it's so quick, it's quiet, and that's how a ghost enters your life, by doing that.
Being a kid at that time, we were all growing up in neighborhoods just like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, terrifying.
The budding suburbia. And the movie is, of course,
It wasn't the creepy old house back in the woods. It was your subdivision. It was the house down the street. I think that's what made it so scary for me.
absolutely. It was because the suburbs were such an exploding concept at the time, and of course, the way America was situated at that time, these were the real life people. We weren't no family was living in the old dark house anymore. Like The Changeling is a terrifying film with George C. Scott. It's a great haunting movie, and it exists more in the gothic realm. It puts it whisks you to the past. Poltergeist slams you into the present with satire and, like you said, terrifying scares of people just like you.
Yeah.
Force that we've all encroached on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So well done. I haven't watched the remake, and I don't think I ever will.
No, not worth it. Most of them aren't.
Exactly.
Classics. So, tell me about the other podcasts that you do, because you so graciously featured SCRY for Help on your Get Scared podcast with
so beautiful.
fantastic authors that have great stories to tell. And you are an avid podcaster. So, what other ones do you have out there?
I am actually just about to launch a podcast network with a dear friend of mine. It's called Just What I Needed Network, because we came up with the idea and it was just what we needed at the time. I have 3 podcasts, including Get Scared podcast. That is about to relaunch this month, like any day now, as soon as I finish the tweaking and all that other stuff. It was on hiatus throughout COVID. Quarantine. And I have Oddity Files, which is a paranormal podcast where my co-host Nick and I tell each other creepy stories we find on the internet, and it's a lot of laughs. We might have a slight obsession with Bigfoot, and we think he's adorable and want to hang out with him. But yeah, it's a good time. It's just called Oddity Files. It's on all the major podcast apps. And then my newest podcast is called Miss Murder. And not only am I a paranormal fan, I love to find out how those ghosts died, and I love true crime. So my friend Heather Hickenbotham and we tell each other stories about women who kill. There's nothing scarier than like a Ted Bundy or, those guys that it's random. That's fucking terrifying. Yeah. Women always have a reason. Now, is it a good reason? Hell no. Sometimes it is, when they kill the cheating husband or whatever. But yeah, all the murder stories we cover are women who kill.
Wow. Do you have a favorite murderess?
I don't. Well, one story I did that it was the right thing to do, and yay, go her. It was a mother who killed her daughter's husband who had been beating her and the children. Ooh. So one day she's just like, I'm done, and just killed him. Buried him in the backyard. Then we're like, shit, we can't leave him in the backyard. So they go to throw him over the bridge. And when they did, his shoelace got hung up on the bridge. He was just kind of dangling. And the cops came up. It's a beautiful story. West Virginia, gotta love it.
It's like an odd couple. The corpse and the murderer kind of finding their way through the case. Yeah.
Well, and then her grandson was helping her throw the body over, and he was down underneath the bridge trying to get him to fall. So he'd go into the water. When the cops pull up on the top, I'm telling you the whole damn story. The cops pull up on the top of the bridge with mom and grandma. Mom and grandma leave grandson under the bridge. Best story ever.
The moral of the story, though justified, guys, it's sometimes not worth the trouble. So 1, don't beat people. 2, let's not get it to that point, because you're not going to know what to do with the body. Let's face it.
No, oh God, no. That's the worst part right there.
Exactly. We're not all Ted Bundy or thank God. But we're not those people in the movies who just have random acid bats in their basement. Really, how do you get that there? But anyway, fascinating. And then your paranormal investigation show is on Amazon Prime. What was the title again?
It's Oddity Files as well. So just search Oddity Files and you'll find my face. We are free on Prime, so check it out. It's officially spooky season, so tell your friends about us, and I will love you forever if you do.
Oh, we will definitely share that love. So everyone, please check out Kitsie's shows on all the podcast networks and Amazon Prime, and also read SCRY for Help, a novella of grief.
Yes.
That way you get not only ghosts in real life, you get queer ghosts, you get fantastic
Ghosts are my favorite. Can I just say it? I haven't met one yet, but I'm dying.
Well, the correct term is I'm gagging to meet one. So yes, we would love to send some queer ghosts your way. And let's celebrate spooky season. Yes, I'm gagging. Yep.
Gagging. You need a T-shirt that says that.
Yep, we've got our own gay urban dictionary. Maybe it's called the Gerben Dictionary. I don't know. But yes, everyone, please enjoy these shows. Let's enter October with a little style.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.